welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to talk about the stats within Dandy's World. Toons in Dandy's World have 15 stars they can assort into their various stats, 16 if they're mains. The stats are skill check, movement speed, stamina, stealth, and extraction speed. These stats are great, honestly. I think 15 stars is just enough to make a variety of builds without making Toons feel too samey. But not all stats are made equal. There are some toons who are widely considered to have bad stats purely because they put their stars into a specific one, and that stat is stamina. Now, why is it that almost every toon who is considered to have bad stats in the fandom almost always have stamina focused stats? Like, listen, Scraps, Bobette, Blot, Cosmo, even Sprout, who's a meta toon. People never really point to his stats when they mention he's good. Like, sure, he's fast and can run a lot, but his value comes mostly from his super strong ability. And let's be real, if you took some stars off of stamina for Sprout and gave them to extraction speed, he would feel a lot better to play, wouldn't he? So, why is stamina so unneeded? Let's talk about it. So, a quick rundown of the stats to make sure we're on the same page. Dandy's World stats can be roughly split into 3 categories: survivability, extraction, and movement. Health and stealth are the survivability stats. Health doesn't change much unless you're main or Sylvester. Stealth is a value that determines both how far a Twisted can spot you and the Twisted's target priority against you. It will be weighed against your teammates to determine who gets attacked first in a given situation. Higher stealth means you're harder to see, and Twisteds are more likely to chase teammates instead of you. For extraction, we have extraction speed and skill check. Extraction speed determines how fast the machine you're on fills up, while skill check determines how easy your skill checks will be and how much progress you'll gain when hitting a great skill check. And for movement, we have movement speed and stamina. Movement speed is self-explanatory, it's how fast you go. It's incredibly crucial for survivability. And then of course, there's stamina, which is also pretty useful. Running increases your speed by 10, and stamina conservation is an extremely valuable skill most players have to learn if they want to get far in a run without a distractor carrying them. But wait, didn't you say stamina was useless? Why did you just say it's good? Whoa, stamina isn't useless, you silly Billy. It's an incredibly important stat, but it does suffer because of a lot of factors. Getting more than a handful of stars in stamina is often never needed, and a waste of stars that could go into more optimal stats to help a toon flourish more. First, let's break down how stamina works so I can explain better why it's the least useful stat. Stamina ranges from 100 to 200, from 1 to 5 stars. 5 stars is double 1 star, which is the same as extraction speed. When running, you deplete 10 stamina per second. 1-star speed toons can run for 10 uninterrupted seconds, while 5 stars can run for 20 seconds. When you stop, your stamina will start regenerating at a rate of 2.4 stamina a second. Here's the time it takes for each star to get from 0 to full, just to get a range. So gaining more stamina stars doesn't necessarily equal faster regeneration. You regain stamina at the exact same rate independent of stars, and considering 10 seconds of uninterrupted sprinting is usually enough to escape just about any Twisted, you don't really need a lot of stamina. Also, it's not a big deal since the stamina regenerates at the same rate as everyone else, but it's so frustrating how long it takes 5-star stamina toons to get to max stamina. Is it just me? But even if 10 entire seconds isn't enough for you, there's 3 total stamina cards you can pick. There are 2 basic ones that increase your stamina by 10 each, and Dial's Floor, which increases by 50, which is the equivalent of 2 stars. That basically makes 1-star stamina toons be able to run for 17 seconds, which is only 3 seconds lower than a base 5-star stamina toon. Sure, not everyone picks Dial, but 1, in long runs you have to pick Dial eventually when you run out of cards, and 2, this video is talking about the game from an overall balancing perspective, and the Dial card exists, which means it needs to be accounted for. And like, as a 1-star stamina toon, if you can't escape from Twisteds of 17 entire seconds of sprinting, then like, go play Grow Garden, man, it's not worth it. So like, we get into a bit of a problem here, where 1-star stamina toons have more than enough stamina already, especially with stamina cards. So where does that leave the people that have even more stamina? They don't really need all of that stamina, do they? That's what's called diminishing returns. Getting too much of one stat will end up hurting toons when those stars could go into others. And with the way stamina is balanced, 1 star is already more than enough to stay alive. 2 and 3 stars you start pushing it, but 4 and 5 is just too much. And I'm going to be fully honest here. I think low stamina toons have it too good. Other stats being 1 star is a huge thing, but 1 star stamina is barely a problem. Like, 1 star skill checks are incredibly hard to hit and give a very small amount of progress. Characters like Cosmo have a hard time extracting due to this. Even if you're good at hitting small skill checks, a little bit of lag can be enough to ruin everything. 1 star movement speed toons are super slow, to the point where tons of people in the fanbase swear off playing them entirely. Like, Connie, Sylvester, and Dazzle are very disliked for their slowness, and even with her ability, a lot of people still find Connie frustrating to play, all because of her speed. 1 star stealth toons, if they're being used for extracting and not distracting, often get in the way a lot, and they're a huge headache to deal with as a distractor if they don't know how to position. And even in casual runs without the distractor, you have to be super cautious, as literally anyone getting chased in your vicinity can mean you get spotted instead of them, and that can quickly get you killed if you're not careful. 1 star extraction speed toons take the longest to do machines. 60 seconds without skill checks is an insane amount of time for one machine, when other decent extractors can do it in a fraction of the time. And even if a low extraction toon has a high skill check stars mathematically contribute less to a machine completion than extraction stars, so they'll still be way behind a lot of the other extractors. But for stamina, yeah, you have less base stamina, but really 100 stamina is already enough to stay alive, and you're given more stamina on top of your base 100 through cards. Which means 5 star stamina toons just have too much stamina and they can't really make use of it that well. Especially when the regeneration rate is the same across all stamina tiers. Even with more max stamina, if your stamina gets depleted, every toon gains stamina at the same rate regardless. So more stamina in the tank doesn't necessarily mean you can sprint more. Once your stamina is under max, everyone's on an even playing field, and the only difference is how much they could run. But you never want to run until your stamina is zeroed out unless you're actually in danger. The only time I've really felt the difference of 1 star stamina was when I play Sylvester or Shrimpo. But honestly, I feel like that's more the fault of their speed than anything, since I've also played plenty of Yada, Gordy, and Gigi, and I haven't had any issues. Like, yeah, 5 star stamina toons can afford to sprint more, but that's more of a convenience than any real strength. No one's arguing Scraps is actually good just because she can sprint more than Gordy. That's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm not one to just complain without offering a solution. So how can stamina become more valued? I've seen this concept floating around in the fandom, so I'm going to give my take on it. Have the stamina stars affect how much stamina you regenerate per second and how long it takes to start regenerating. So even with the stamina cards, low stamina stars still feel like a downside for a toon. The numbers are going to be important, pay attention. When you stop running, there will be a tiny internal cooldown that will prevent your stamina from regenerating until it runs out. 1 star toons will take 1 second for their stamina to start regenerating, and this cooldown will go down with every star you add. So 1 second for 1 star, 0.75 seconds for 2 stars, 0.5 seconds for 3 stars, 0.25 seconds for 4 stars, and 5 star stamina toons will begin regenerating their stamina instantly. And on top of that, stamina stars will also affect how fast you regenerate your stamina. 1 star stamina toons will gain stamina at a 1.5 stamina a second, taking around 66.6 seconds to be full. 2 star stamina will regenerate at a 2.5 stamina per second, which is slightly higher than the natural one that we have in the game right now. It would take about 50 seconds to fill up. 3 stars would regenerate at a 3.5 stamina a second, taking about 42 seconds to fill up completely. You can start to see a pattern here, but 4 stars would regenerate at a 4.5 stamina a second, taking 38.8 seconds to fill up. While finally, 5 stars would regenerate at a 5.5 stamina a second, regenerating their stamina to full in just 36.4 seconds. With a change like this, it'll make it so even with the stamina cards available, your toon having high stamina will still feel impactful. It won't just affect how long you can run for in one go, but also how much you can run overall. since toons that regenerate their stamina faster will be able to afford running a lot more often. Even though this would be a big hit to toons with low stamina, I feel like it's warranted and partially necessary. 1-star stamina being barely an inconvenience is causing a bit of an imbalance in stat blocks for toons. If Cosmo having 1-star skill check is a big deal, I think like Yada having 1-star stamina should be too. Sorry Yada mains, I play Sylvester alone so I'm cooked too. But yeah, that was my stamina rework. I'm not sure if this would be enough to make toons like Scraps, Bobette, Blot, and Cosmo feel better to play. Maybe yes, maybe not, but this concept could help equalize the gap between stamina and other stats, because right now the most optimized stat pools include as little stamina as possible. With the stamina also affecting regeneration, it would mean that even after getting the stamina cards and having way more stamina than you need, you can still feel the difference of the stars, and your weakness isn't fixed, because let's be real, the stamina cards by themselves are quite strong. Can you imagine an extraction equivalent or like a speed one? Any toon would be able to distract at that point. That would be ridiculous. But also, that weirdly sounds kind of fun. I wonder if we'll ever get a roguelike game mode when the game releases. That would be silly. But I digress. The video's over and my concept is out there, so as usual, thanks for listening to me yap about Dandy's World once again. Goodbye.